Danny, I just figured out that if I switch to Metro PCS, I get 2 Samsung Galaxy phones free.
Cool, Dad.
And I could be a super dad with 2 free Samsung Galaxy phones and call myself Double Galaxy Man.
Or you could give the second phone to your sidekick.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
That's right. 2 free Samsung Galaxy On 5 smartphones are all yours when you switch to Metro PCS. Metro PCS. Wireless figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio. Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda D. Brown. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Lynda D. Brown. My guest today is Dr. Elliott Maynard. Dr. Maynard is stopping by the Author Chat Show to discuss his book, Brave New Mind, Living in a Future Science World. This is Dr. Maynard's first appearance on the Author Chat Show, and we'll be right back to chat with him about his book after a word from today's sponsor.
Primestar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services Primestar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. Primestar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right, welcome back to the show. For those of you just tuning in, my guest today is author Dr. Elliott Maynard. Dr. Maynard is stopping by the Author Chat Show to discuss his book, Brave New Mind, Living in a Future Science World. This is Dr. Maynard's first appearance on the Author Chat Show, so let's bring him on with a warm Author Chat welcome. Dr. Maynard, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Lynda, and thank you for having me on.
It's our pleasure to have you on. With this being your first appearance on the show, why don't we get started with you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I have my educational background involves planetary ecology, in other words, global ecology. I call it underwater photography, art, science, rainforest ecology, and many other disciplines, which has put me in the position by default of being a planetary ecologist. And I had decided that the endless cycles of kill or be killed, survival of the fittest, etc., were not working. The rise and fall of empires and the destruction of the environment because of wars and greed and empires being built and fallen. And so I created a whole new operating system for humans and planet Earth. The two are inseparable. And this operating system is a new master paradigm. The old paradigms of the past are usually generated back in the Industrial Revolution or before. They're hangovers, they're tangle feet for us moving into the future and operating effectively in the present, most importantly. So this manages, the simple key to doing this is to opening yourself. We have been taught endlessly by our teachers, religious leaders, our parents, never to believe anything we cannot be proved to be true. So if you just flick that little switch in our minds not to disbelieve anything that we can't believe to be untrue, then we open ourselves to a vast realm of possibilities, and things will be happening in our lives which we never expected to be before. And this happens fairly regularly when you get into this so-called quantum information field, quantum state.
Wow. Okay. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you. What you're into is so above my concept. It's just unbelievable. So please bear with me as I try to get the questions out that I think our listening audience is looking for. Now, you, in your author bio, you call yourself a consciousness scientist and conceptual designer. What exactly is that?
Well, essentially, I've been put in the dubious position of seeing certain things. When we reach a certain stage of life or awareness, we begin to see things differently from a kind of a helicopter viewpoint, in other words, a higher viewpoint. And this higher viewpoint allows us to duck all of the drama and the vortices of drama. In other words, you don't get sucked into other people's vortices. And in this way, you begin to forge your own path. Each one of us can do this into the future. And if we can learn to spend more and more time in this quantum information field, the 0 point, some people call it, we can also, there is no time there. There is the future, past, and present all exist simultaneously. So when we get into this zone, and I tell you how to do this in the book, very simple, we begin to absorb information from the future just by being in that point. And it trickles down to us, and we'll suddenly find ourselves getting images, little nudges, little intuitive hints that can change our life dramatically.
Okay. Now, one of the things, Dr. Maynard, that you speak of in your book is of the future man that humanity is evolving into. Can you describe who and what we are becoming?
Yes, there was a gentleman named Yatri who described humans as really not human beings, but humans becoming, and that's quite an appropriate analogy, I think. And we have the ability, due to the raising of the vibrational rate of humans, and this has been set forth by many psychics who are independent and from different sources. So we're becoming something new. We have abilities with the Internet, the global consciousness, or global brain, so-called. This is our wild card for success because we can report actual incidents that are happening, situations, and people can lend support. And the power of coherent support is very, very powerful. I've written about this in the book, and we can change the world. One person can begin, and through the Internet, it can evolve, let's say, to the X power. So if we can start creating and doing good to the X power, we can change the world in many, many positive ways.
What type of changes do you see happening for the future man?
Well, for one thing, the futurists like to call these wild card events, and I talked about this with many of the aerospace people in the past from NASA and other places. Wild card events are things that pop up, like the invention of the electric car and all that Tesla Motors has done. This is going to change things dramatically, and this change is already underway. And we have other amazing technologies. Part of this new master paradigm says that we would use our advanced scientific technology along with intuitive technology. Intuitive medicine is a perfect example where psychic intuitives aid the operating team. They keep the patient stabilized and the operating team stabilized. And actually, it has been documented that they can shorten the healing rate and increase the success of these kind of operational procedures, surgical procedures. And so here we have an example for you.
Okay. So would that line up with the non-local consciousness efforts that you're talking about for healing?
Yes, and a nice analogy is, remember the reel-to-reel tape decks. And if you wanted to go to any particular point or to say we're dealing with music, a song, you reel the tape either forward or backward, and of course that also goes along with time. With the invention of the compact disc, it's non-local. And whenever we request a piece of data or a song, we can go directly to that point. And this is the way we can operate. This is the operational protocol for the new humans. And I believe the celebration of the intuitive powers is not only a very important step for evolution, but it's an evolutionary imperative.
Okay. You speak of emerging or integration of conventional science and alternative science. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes. This simply, some of our leading-edge traditionally trained medical people, doctors, surgeons, I have had this direct experience with them. They are open to having intuitive healers help them because these healers can see things using what's called PSI, microvision, to actually view the various systems in the body. They can go through the blood vessels. They can check out the neural connections in the body and give this information to the surgeon, who can then make choices, very intelligent choices. So here we have the ancient and the traditional healing technology combined with our advanced surgical technology, and you come out with something better than the whole. This is synergy.
And that was going to be my next question to you. So basically, this is a more advanced type of holistic medicine or treatment. Is that what we're saying here?
That's correct. And what we're moving toward is more preventive medicine now, because the new healers, and they can work in conjunction with conventional doctors, can now begin to anticipate problems in the future of a particular person and clean those blocks out before they actually manifest into the future as a disease.
Right. Wonderful. Okay. And that's great, because you see more and more people shifting towards a more holistic way of dealing with their illnesses, as opposed to being bombarded with pills and all this other nonsense that I truly just try to avoid big time. You speak in your book, Dr. Maynard, about supersonics. Did I pronounce that correctly? And exactly what is that?
Well, supersonics was a term invented by Dr. Christopher Hills, who had the first consciousness research university in the Bay Area in California. And it simply involves using the intuitive senses, which have been a major survival key for generations and thousands and actually millions of years for humans. And only very recently have we developed our new technology in the last 300 years or so, mostly the last 100 years. And so what we're doing is bringing the ancient and modern together to create, again, something better in all cases. And yes, we're working into the future now and doing more preventative medicine. And using consciousness technology can actually be used to assist the drugs on the market. That's one small aspect of it, to do their work and actually find out which ones would be better for the patient.
As opposed to just kind of using the patient as the guinea pig and trying this and trying that, correct?
You got it. Yes.
Right. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Dr. Maynard is going to read an excerpt from his book, Brave New Mind, Living in a Future Science World. So don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're here today with Dr. Elliott Maynard, and he is actually going to read an excerpt from his book, Brave New Mind, Living in a Future Science World. Doctor, what page and what chapter will you be reading from?
I'll be reading from page 79, and this is to do with master key number 8. The future science technology itself is a master paradigm, and it has 25 keys, which are different focal points or pathways for us all to begin to move into the future more effectively. A quote from Nikola Tesla first. My method is different. I do not rush into actual work. When I get a new idea, I start at once building it up in my imagination and make improvements and operate the device in my mind. When I have gone as far as to embody everything in my invention, every possible improvement I can think of, and when I see a fault anywhere, correct it. I put into concrete form the final product of my brain. Nikola Tesla, who was an electrical engineer that invented many incredible things, but was co-opted by the powers that be, he had wireless transmission, and the Westinghouse people and others took this away from him and created the whole wire network, so-called grid. Now, the amazing thing about Tesla, he would go into these little meditations or naps and had the powers to actually start to put a machine, a device, an invention together in his mind. And then he would run it and debug it until it was perfect. And then he would bring it down into the physical and create it. I always admired this from a very low level and said, this guy is a genius. But then I began to realize that anyone can do this, because I was able to see things in my mind, and this was in the area of my sculpture that I do, and see completed pieces sometimes, get ideas and try different combinations. And people can do this with actually anything. I share this because if I can do it, you can do it. Everyone can do it. And whether it's needlepoint or baking a pie or working on your car, this sort of thing, the ideas will come trickling down to you when you become aware. And the key is the awareness of when you're in this quantum field. And all of us do have moments when we're there.
Dr. Maynard?
Yes.
When you started your reading, and you mentioned how what it is just basically it starts with a thought, and then once you kind of imagine what it is that you want to do, you can then put like pen to paper, because believe it or not, that's exactly how I write my books. And almost anything that I actually come up with, I think that's something that a lot more people that are creative, that have really kind of tuned into their creative side, kind of has this type of consciousness. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. And as I said, everyone experiences this kind of aha moment. You see this in the football and basketball professional games or in the Olympics, where people get into that so-called zone. And what that means is that you're off the linear track and in a quantum zone. Remember the analogy of the CD disc being able to go to any information point on that disc and get it. So when you're in this point, you're accessing what I call the quantum information field, the universal information field. And there, the past, future, and present are all together. So the more you stay there, the more things begin to trickle in from the future, and you bring them back, and they come to you in the physical body while you're working.
Wow. Okay. Now, in your book, do you describe how someone that maybe hasn't developed that, how they can develop it? Does that make sense?
Yes, and I do describe this, and I describe it in many different ways with the different 25 keys. But the main thing to remember is that until fairly recently in human history, we relied on these intuitive senses to find the game that we needed to survive, to escape from enemies, perhaps to kill certain predators that needed to be dispatched for your own survival, etc. And what has happened with the invention of the Gutenberg press and mass media, the left brain has gotten overdeveloped so that we're working on that linear scale, and we're stuck in these old, let's say, programs, paradigms. And the new system is different. I invented a whole new operating system for humans. And here, these paradigms are flexible. So they're always evolving. They're breaking off new parts. They're eliminating the ones that aren't necessary anymore. And so this is how it is different. And each of us can exercise these faculties by, I've presented several techniques in the book on how to do this, many of them.
Great. Now, so many of our institutions seem to be collapsing, yet your book is very optimistic. Can you tell us why?
Well, this is a bit of a mystery to me in some ways, but no matter how bad things get, I seem to have a kind of a passion for positively changing the world. And I know that there are many, many others out there who would also want to do this, and even doing it in a small way can create a viral transformation over the internet, the global consciousness.
Wow, okay. For those that are listening, we're talking to Dr. Elliott Maynard, and that is, I am pronouncing that correctly, right?
Yes.
Okay. When I think of Maynard, and I'm hoping you're old enough to appreciate this, do you remember Maynard on Toby Gillis?
Absolutely.
Okay, right. Okay, the book is called Brave New Mind, Living in a Future Science World. Currently, it's available just in the Kindle edition. Is that correct?
No, it is also available in paperback, and at our foundation website, there are a number of TV and radio interviews, and also on YouTube. YouTube, it would be under my name, Elliott, with 2 L's and 2 T's, and Maynard. Okay. And also our foundation is Arcocielos, which is ARCOSCIELOS.com. That's the name of our foundation.
Okay, and that's the best way to contact you, Dr. Maynard?
Yes.
Great. Do you have any type of events coming up that our listening audience might be able to come out and meet you and chat with you about your book?
Well, I'm doing a whole series of interviews. I don't have the schedule right in hand, but okay. Again, you can find these on our website, and they cover many different aspects and questions from different interviewers, so this pretty well covers it. I go to workshops periodically. I've done a group of workshops and productions for music, usually in Maine, also during the summer months.
Okay, great. Now, let me ask you before we end the show, because we've got about 5 minutes left. What is it that you're hoping that this book will achieve for those that decide to purchase it and read it? What is your main focus that you would like for them to get from your book?
Well, the whole, I guess if you roll it up into one word, it is empowerment. Empowerment, especially for individuals who are isolated either geographically or, in other ways. Perhaps they're in an organization, a big corporation, which has lost its touch with its customers. These things empower people, and they give them a chance to start to get that feeling of, I call it environmental responsibility, because we all need to put in a certain amount of time learning about the earth and how to clean up the mess we've made, which is a serious problem right now, and other problems which I've outlined in the book. Right.
One of the things that I tend to see, I guess being an author and a publisher, is a lack of imagination, especially in the elementary schools. Do you think that a program like this would really benefit our elementary school children to get them thinking with a different mindset?
Absolutely, and if you've ever done, I've done some teaching. I'm primarily a university teacher, but I did some work up on the Hopi Indian Reservation and taught 7th and 8th graders, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And those kids are terminally bored by most education. The important thing, I have one of the keys is a new educational system which celebrates the intuitive senses and teaches children to learn how to use these in their personal lives, in business, et cetera, along with a lot of other practical things which will guide a person through their whole life and not just ivory tower degrees, which $2 and a cup of coffee might buy you a cup, buy you a cup of coffee. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, well, any last words? Right on cue. Any last words for our listening audience?
Yes, people ask me what we can do as individuals, and here are a few little things. Make the place a little better than you found it, wherever you are. Do a good turn for everyone, for someone every day. And try to create win-win situations in all of your negotiations if possible, business, personal, whatever. And if you can really move into the future, you try to create a win-win-win situation, or win to the X power. This is possible, and the possibilities are incredible for transformation in a positive way.
Wonderful. Again, the title of the book is Brave New Mind, Living in a Future Science World. I am on Amazon. I just see the Kindle edition. I'm sure do you have it in hardback or paperback? Your other edition? Paperback, okay. We will post the website for Dr. Maynard on our Facebook Author Chat page. Dr. Maynard, we really appreciate you coming on the show this morning and sharing your information about your book. Believe it or not, even though it sounds kind of intimidating, every time I try to break it down for the, as we say, the little people, to get some understanding about what it is that you're trying to do. But like you mentioned, it's really just using the more creative, I'll say the more creative part of your mind. Would you agree with that?
Yes, the real you, so to speak, and this
exactly.
real you has been covered up with acres and acres of fluff and you know what.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely. Well, again, I thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your information in your book. We really look forward to you coming back. Are you working on anything new at this time?
Well, I'm between books right now, and I found that a certain amount of time is required to be in the incubation capsule. So when the books are ready, they're like having a baby. They want to come along, and there's a power and a force behind that, or any creative project that folks have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Well, listen, get out here and enjoy your Tuesday. Have you had a chance to vote yet?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah,
and as I mentioned earlier, one of the questions that I asked Dr. Maynard was, a lot of systems seem to be failing. Do you see any hope with our political system using your concept here?
Well, the one thing that I think is important is that folks are getting stirred up. Out of chaos comes organization, and I don't like the word revolution because it always involves bloodshed. I like the term re-evolution, and that's what we're doing. Whoever is chosen to be president, we need to stick behind them and then use the tools that we have. If they need to be impeached, so be it. But we need to stick together and muddle through this the way humans have done so many times, and I always feel we're getting help from many, many other sources. So I leave you with that positive thought, and we'll get through it if we stick together.
There you go. What a great way to end the show. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Maynard, and we really wish you the best with your book and look forward to having you come back on the show with your next book.
Thank you, Lynda. I'd be delighted.
Sounds good. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was Dr. Elliott Maynard, and again, the title of the book is Brave New World, Living in a Future Science World. As he mentioned, the book is available in two formats. Right now I'm looking at the Kindle on Amazon. It's currently $9.99, but we will be posting his website so that you can find all the information that you need about this Brave New Mind that, like I mentioned, and I've had a couple of authors, for those listeners that listen to the show on a regular basis, this is some of the things that some of the authors have come on the show and talk about. We first visualize what it is that we want to write or create, and then we put pen to paper. So I have to say he's definitely on track with something great. Listen, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll catch you guys next time on the Author Chat Show. So enjoy your Tuesday and get out and vote. Bye-bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Danny, I just figured out that if I switch to Metro PCS, I get 2 Samsung Galaxy phones free.
Cool, Dad.
And I could be a super dad with 2 free Samsung Galaxy phones and call myself Double Galaxy Man.
Or you could give the second phone to your sidekick.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
That's right. 2 free Samsung Galaxy On 5 smartphones are all yours when you switch to Metro PCS. Metro PCS. Wireless figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.